How many of you have ever heard of a 10-minute open house? Open houses are supposed to be from noon to 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, or 2 hours long from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on a Friday evening. So why would someone only have an open house for 10 minutes long? Have any of you ever participated in a 10-minute open house, or had any of you considered holding a 10-minute open house? What if I told you that you could get more people to a 10-minute open house than you could to the typical 3-hour open house on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon? What if I told you that it would be easier to drive larger numbers of attendees to these open houses at a 10-minute open house than you could to a 3-hour open house? Well, that's what today's topic here on the Real Estate Podcast is about: how to hold and conduct a 10-minute open house and what you can expect in your real estate business if you do so. I am Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, and I want to welcome all of you today to this episode of the Real Estate, and our episode entitled The 10-Minute Open House. So I want to tell you a little bit about how this came about. And I want you to know I'm so excited actually about this, and I want all of you to take it upon yourselves in the next 2 weeks to try to hold and conduct a 10-minute open house. And I'm going to tell you how to do it, and we're going to talk about what you need to do to market it ahead of time and actually how to execute it. And all of you will have the ability to do this, and I hope that you'll give it a try in the next 2 weeks and then give us some feedback and let us know how this is working for you. Recently, with everything that's been going on in our world, we've been doing a lot of training and a lot of podcasts and webinars and business builder series and all kinds of Zoom meetings talking about how we can push our real estate businesses online virtually instead of being face-to-face in the traditional physical showings of property. In many states, properties are not allowed to be shown. We have restrictions put on ourselves and just with the community as a whole. It is not possible in some cases to show homes physically. And that's where these virtual showings have come about. So if you haven't yet heard about all of the marketing, I implore you to please go to homesmart.com/virtual-open-house. And there you will find all kinds of agent resources about how to take your business online. And oftentimes we would begin the webinars or the videos with stories. Well, with one particular social media post that someone shared with me one day, and it said, if you can choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. And it is so timely right now, because if you think about it, 40% of Americans in a recent study have said that they found their spouse or their significant other online. So you have a massive amount of the United States population that is comfortable and familiar with going online to find a spouse or to find a significant other. So why wouldn't they be comfortable going online to look for anything that they are wanting, whether it be real estate or whether it be furniture? I also use that graphic then to talk about Ashley Superstore, one of the furniture superstores here in the United States. They now are offering Zoom appointments or online virtual appointments where a salesperson will walk around the showroom floor, show furniture, couches, sofas, bookshelves, lamps, whatever someone needs to their customers. And the customers can then purchase it online, place the purchase right there over the Zoom meeting, the virtual meeting with someone, and then go curbside and pick it up or have it delivered to their home. It's a new way of virtual shopping, and it just shows the mass adoption of technologies that consumers are making right now. And so to make that jump then to real estate is not that big of a jump. And one more story. I talk often about, Uber, about one day it was announced that you could just dial up a stranger online on your phone on an app, summon their car, and you'd get in the back of this stranger's car and they would drive you somewhere, wherever you wanted to go. And at one point that was a little unexpected and abnormal, but today it is so normal. I asked someone the other day, I said, do you even know a single person who has never Ubered? And I can say, I don't know if I do know anyone that has never Ubered. So it has just become such a normal part of the fabric of our society right now. So why shouldn't it be that way with real estate? So we began to teach agents about how to do live virtual showings, live virtual open houses, live virtual listing appointments, live virtual realtor tours. And specifically, when it came to these live virtual showings, what you were doing was you were having someone, the home seller was inside their home with a camera, walking around and showing the home. The home buyer was on the other end of this virtual online meeting, watching the home seller walk around the home. The home buyer's agent was in their own home privately because everyone was in a shelter in place. And the seller's agent was also in their home. So you had 4 people participating in a live virtual real estate showing. Each person was in the privacy of their own home, but yet they were showing property virtually. So we took that to the next level and we trained agents about, okay, so why can't you do this with an open house? You set up an online meeting or some sort of virtual software. The MLSs have all adopted 12 major types of online meeting software, from Zoom to Facebook Live to GoToMeeting to Google Meet, etc. And you could post a listing or an open house into the MLS and say, here is how you can enter this private online meeting and take a tour of the home. And from Saturday from noon to 3 p.m., I'm going to hold an open house, but I'm going to do it virtually and everyone can participate via this online meeting software. But then as I've learned, what typically happens in the real estate industry is that real estate professionals take a great idea and they make it even better. And that's where I was surprised by some of the top agents conducting a 10 or a 15-minute open house. So on Friday evening, instead of holding a 2-hour virtual open house from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., they're holding a 10-minute open house Friday evening at 6 p.m. And what was surprising to me was that they were getting larger numbers of people to a 10-minute open house than I would typically expect them to get at a 2-hour open house, with people coming in and out at their own leisure. And at first I didn't fully understand why, but then I had a little bit of an aha about 2 days after I heard one of the agents tell me, instead of a 2-hour open house, they should only be doing 10-minute open houses. They should be marketing it like crazy to come meet at this time at 6 p.m. or 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, come to this open house and they'll get more results. And then I had an experience in my own life that really drove that point home for me. So it was about a Tuesday evening, and my wife told me that tomorrow night we are going to have a birthday party online for my niece. And everyone from around the country was going to chime in to this birthday party, and we were going to do it online virtually. And instead of them holding a 2-hour birthday party where people would come in and go at their leisure, they held a 10-minute birthday party, my niece's parents. And what we did was at 6:30 p.m. the next night, we all chimed in and logged on to this Zoom meeting. It was online virtual software, Zoom, instead of one of the other platforms. And all of a sudden I noticed that there were about 90 plus people from all across the country all logged into Zoom. And at 6:35, they lit the candles. We all sang her happy birthday. And she said hi to everybody, and the cameras were going on and off, and pictures were being taken of everybody all around the country. And in 10 minutes, we had 90 plus people sing her happy birthday. She thought it was so amazing. She would never, I mean, that was more people than she probably would have had with an in-person birthday party, singing her happy birthday all at the same time. And it was a really neat moment. But what drove it home for me was because everyone was designed to be there right at 6:30 p.m. and they lit the candles and we all sang her happy birthday at once, that you could have a better event. You could have a more populous event with more people attending if you drive it to a 10-minute event. And that's when the light bulb clicked on for me about the agents in Palm Springs, California, that were doing these 10-minute open houses, an agent in Phoenix, Arizona, in Mesa that was doing the 10-minute open house. And that's where these agents took the idea of a 2-hour virtual open house and made it better by doing only a 10-minute open house. So the following week, I got an invitation from someone, and it was designed to be a 15-minute open house at 1 p.m. And I logged in right at 1 p.m. He kicked it off with some drone footage of the neighborhood and talked about the community and everything that this property was located in. He immediately started to walk through a live virtual tour that he had of the home, walked everybody through, and he was showing the property as he was doing this. And it all lasted about 15 minutes long. And I looked down and there were about 170 people on this meeting participating all at once. It was realtors, it was consumers, it was everybody. And the light bulb just went on for me that if it would have been a 2-hour open house, I might not have ever even logged in, or I certainly wouldn't have well, then you come in and they're in the middle of doing a showing to someone else. It's kind of awkward. But the fact that it was right at 1 p.m., I joined in, I stayed on for about 12 minutes, saw everything I needed to see. I popped off, and that agent had a tremendously successful open house. Now, this next fact, I don't know if it's true. I'm trying to verify yet, but I heard of an agent then in on the East Coast, rather, that had 1,700 people to a 10-minute open house on Facebook Live, because all week long they had marketed it and driven their customers to this open house. But because it was a short, this home is just hitting the market on Saturday at 1 p.m. They built up the demand all week long. So their marketing was, hey, we have a brand new listing. It's being readied for market right now. It will hit the market on Saturday. So they didn't give any of the details of the property, and they announced it that there was going to be a 3-bedroom hit the market Saturday at 1 o'clock. Join us on Facebook Live to see it, to take a tour in this highly sought after area where there was really low inventory. And then they made the listing live in the MLS. They held the open house, and I heard that there were about 17 people on that open house, or 1,700 people on that open house on a Facebook Live. I just thought that was amazing. But what it did for me was it drove home the point that you all can do a 10-minute open house. So here's how you do it. You have to learn how to use the online marketing software. You have to choose what online meeting software you're going to do this on. And you have to pre-market it. You can't just set the meeting up. You actually have to set the meeting up at the beginning of the week. All week long, you create demand. So on social media, email marketing, texting, print marketing, one-on-one phone calls, videos, whatever you need to do, you set the demand that, hey, Friday night, come spend 10 minutes, do this open house at 6 p.m. or Saturday, 10-minute open house at noon, 1 p.m. I have in front of me a graphic. You all can't see it because this is an audio-only podcast, but of some agents in California that were doing 10-minute open houses or showings. First one is at noon, and then they do another one at 1 p.m. And they would do 2 showings a Saturday. And then what they would do is they would make people register for the link. So in order to get into the 10-minute showing, they had to register. So let's just say that they had 40 people registered to open house 1, 40 people registered to open house 2. They did that on Saturday. They did another one on Sunday. They basically had 160 people register. And if they did that 4 weekends in a row, what is that? About 600, 700 plus people that they captured their names. And now they have 700 new buyers that they've captured their information with. And they use it to market their sphere, grow their business. A tremendously successful way to do open houses. And yet they didn't have to waste their Saturdays. They did a showing followed by another showing, and then they got their weekend back. So I guess that's what I wanted you all to hear about, is that you can conduct a 10-minute open house. You can market it. The marketing team at HomeSmart has created all kinds of marketing materials that you can say, hey, a live virtual showing available on this day at this time, posted on social media, email marketing, texting, everything that I said, and give it a try. So I have been talking about this with some of our offices around the country, with agents, and urging them to try this. And the feedback that I've gotten is that this really does work. And I hope you have the same aha moment as I've described these events and these stories to you that I had, so that you are willing to give it a try. So here's today's challenge. I want you all to find out the virtual or set up an account with some of the virtual software that would enable you to do a 10-minute virtual open house. So Zoom, Facebook Live, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, WebEx, FaceTime, whatever it is that you're using, set up an account. Create an event for Saturday at noon or Friday evening at 6 p.m. and create that event for a week from now. And then I want you to begin marketing it solid for a full week that you're going to be having this 10-minute open house. Come log on at 6 p.m. on Friday night and tour this property. And I want you to use it in your marketing in email, in text, in print, phone calls, in person, whatever means that you can do to drive activity on all your social media platforms, videos, stories, etc. And then conduct the open house, reap the rewards, and then give us the feedback and let me know how we did. So without any further ado, that's today's episode of the Real Estate Podcast, talking all about how to do the 10-minute open house. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope to see you back on future episodes. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart, and I wish all of you good luck on your next 10-minute open house.
Like what you're hearing on The Real Estate? Tell your friends about us. Tell them to check out all of our episodes on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And don't forget to send any topics you want us to tackle to therealestate@homesmart.com.